stretch, Washington resorted to sending Ben Simmons to the free throw line, where he went 4 for 8 in the final 3 minutes. And after the game, Doc Rivers defended his decision to leave Simmons in the game. Take a listen.
You want me to take Ben Simmons off the floor?
No, I mean, I got to ask the question.
I will pass on that one. He's pretty good, so I'll pass on that suggestion.
He could have made more free throws. And
he could have, but he didn't. But he still does other things. He split them all. And again, I'll take that. Obviously, I want him to make more. Ben's not an 80% free throw shooter.
Okay.
Yeah, for me right now. But, again, listen, you guys keep the Ben narrative going. We're just going to keep playing. I didn't think he was scared of the moment. He just didn't make them. So, again, with Ben, we're going to keep him on the floor. Unless you guys want us to bench him the whole game. If anybody wants us to do that, just let me know. And then I'll know you don't know basketball.
Woo, Doc, all right. Well, Shannon, should Doc have taken him out?
Skip, Doc might have to treat this like an offensive-defensive substitution, Skip, because it cost him the game.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Ben hasn't gotten better at shooting the basketball. He's unwilling to shoot the ball outside of the paint. He hasn't gotten better at shooting free throws. He refused to shoot three-pointers. So, Skip, I don't know. He's not like Shaq. You had to keep Shaq because Shaq was so dominant. Ben is not so dominant, Skip, that he's above reproach that you can't take him out. Skip, he's 5 of 20 from the free throw line in the series. That's worse than Luka. And we think Luka is up. I don't know what his percentage is. What is this, 20%, 25%? Skip? What?
Remember, he went into last night's game 0 for 9.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So, and they're like, you know what? We can't stop them. Every time we let them go down there and run a set, they get buckets. So Scotty Brooks said, well, the hell with this. Let's just foul Ben Simmons. Skip, I mean, Doc, you owe it to your guys to put the guys on the floor. And if Ben can't make free throws, Skip, I don't understand it. And I get it, Doc. It's not, because Ben is one of your cornerstone players. And you obviously worry about what that's going to do. But Joel Embiid, and again, Skip, you hope it's not serious, but what happens every series, every 4 or 5 games with Joel Embiid?
I agree. At least he stayed in the game for a while, right, which would indicate maybe it's not quite as bad. I'm going to knock on wood over here.
I hope so, Skip.
Yeah.
But that's a big man to hit the floor as hard as he did.
Big man, and it looked like a little hyperextension.
Yeah, exactly. Skip, from his rookie year, you would have thought, okay, you're like, he's going to improve. But Skip, what is he improved? Is he an elite defender? Yes.
Yep.
But I don't know if his defensive skills matches his offensive deficiencies.
Okay.
And that's the issue. Because this is what you're going to see, Skip. This is going to cost them some more games. Because guess what other teams are going to do that they play? Foul the heck out of Ben Simmons. And they're going to make him go to the free throw line. I would make him shoot. He ain't get no layups. He ain't get no dunks. If he shoots 30 free throws a game, okay. Given that his resume, what it says right now, that means if he shoots 30 free throws a game, he'll make about 10. I take that. But I know he's going to make a dunk. I know he's going to lay the ball up. But I'm not giving him that, Skip. I'm not so sure, Doc, hey, you probably should have took him out for that 58 seconds and rolled the dice with it like that. Because those misses hurt.
So, I hear everything you just said. But I also heard what Doc said. And I tweeted in the heat of that moment last night, you cannot pull him, Doc, because if you pull him, you might lose him in the big picture because you're going to shame him publicly if you pull him. And he's a very good player.
Yes.
On offense, he's very valuable. He is their point guard. He is their orchestrator. I know plays forward, plays center, he plays everything, but he has the ball in his hands a lot.
But I can foul him and neutralize
it. You can, in part because he does have the ball in his hands.
Exactly.
Right? But he is, I'm not going to go great passer, but he's a very good passer. So he has that strength on offense. And as you just pointed out, he is a high-level defender.
Yeah.
And he can guard point guards or he can guard centers.
Right.
He is extremely valuable to what has become a very good defensive basketball team. Obviously, they need Joel to rim protect.
Right.
But the point is, I'm with you on hasn't improved. He's now a career 59.7% free throw shooter. This year, he was 61.3. A year ago, he was 62.1. So he regressed slightly this year. And as you point out, he's now 5 of 20, but he was 0 for 9 entering the game.
Right.
Okay. Here's the biggest picture of this. I'm going to remind everybody, that same coach, Scotty Brooks, back on November 24th of 2017, I don't know if you remember this game, it was Ben's 19th pro game. He fouled him and sent him to the free throw line in the fourth quarter of that game 24 times. Ben Simmons shot 24 free throws in an early regular season game in which the Sixers lived to tell about it. They actually won that game. He went 12 of 24, predictably. He's going to make about 50%. Half of them, okay? And if you look at his top 6 free throw attempts in the fourth quarter in his career, they've won every one of those games until last night.
Right.
It didn't work. Was that a huge game? Well, obviously, it was a sweep game. It was a closeout 4-0 game.
And because Skip, you win that game, you get Joel Embiid some rest. You don't have to worry about a game 5.
I got it. So was I grimacing watching him? Yes. And if we can see it again, is he shooting? Doc says he's shooting it with confidence, that he's not afraid of the free throw line. But if we could see the sort of the parade of these free throws, he's got the flying left elbow, which I do not love. Does he need a shot doctor to help with that a little bit? If he could tuck it a little bit, you can be a little more consistent with it. And yet, some of them look pretty good. So, that looked pretty good, right? That looked like a pretty sweet, motion. And yet, does he have demons in the fourth? Yes, he does. Does he need a psychological coach? Does he need some therapy just dealing with this free throw issue? Maybe. He seems like a proud young man, right? So, to me, you got to ride with it and hope that it doesn't come completely back to bite you. Obviously, if you win the game going away, it won't be a factor.
Skip,
right?
You had a chance to win the game in which Bill and Russ shot 12 of 42. Russ was 3 of 19. 3
of 19? Lord have mercy. I've never seen anything like that. I agree. I looked this up. That's 15.8% that Russ shot. 3 of 19, and Beal wasn't much better. He shot 39%. Yes. 9 of 23.
Skip, the game was there for the taking.
It was screaming to be won by
Philly.
By Philly.
Yes.
It was. So the point is, if I'm Doc, he's such a good player, I have to ride with him through these playoffs. I have to try to figure out that he can figure it out. Because you know and I know, you can't do that to a player of this caliber.
And the thing with Shaq, Skip, Coach Popovich started it with Shaq, the Hacker Shaq. But Shaq, I don't know, for whatever reason, Shaq would make, if you foul him 7 times, Shaq would make 5 of them and make you pay. So he's like, okay, I'm not a good free throw shooter, but I'll make them when I have to. Well, Ben Simmons is going to have to adopt that. He might miss all of them up until they start hacking him. And then you're going to have to make them pay. Because if you don't, guess what's going to happen, Skip? It's kind of like a bully. Until you stand up to the bully, Skip, they're going to keep bullying you. Until you start making those free throws, they're going to keep hacking you. Because
the bully in this case is the demon in your head.
Exactly.
You got to look it right in the eye and say no more.
Because guess what, Skip? You stop the clock. So I stop the clock, and so I get an opportunity you miss, because I know if Joel Embiid is in there, Skip, there's a chance for an and one. No.
So if you look hard at the close of this game, it's 108-108.
Right.
With 2:47 left, they went to hack a Ben.
Right.
And he made 1 of 2. And then at 2:28, he made 1 of 2. And then 2:07, he made 1 of 2. Then Russ just tackled him on what could have been a dunk, and he had to go to the free throw line again at 1:08, and he went 1 of 2. So he went 4 of 8 in the last 2:47 of the game.
In other words, Skip, what they're doing it like a 3. A 3 is worth more than 2. Well, 2 is worth more than 1.
That's right. Because making 1 of 2 isn't horrible, but it's not good enough to get you home when that team is playing inspired, crazed, we will not be swept kind of basketball.
Right. You go down there and get 1. Now they go down there and get a layup, they get 2. You go down and get 1, they go down and get 2.
Then Hashimura goes down there from the corner and just ices you with a big 3, and you can't compete mathematically if you keep making 1 of 2.
Correct.
Which leads me to the Clippers-Dallas series, which leads me back to Luka, who's been even worse than Ben to me. He looks worse. Like, like Luka's free throws in the 4 games have clanked worse than Ben's.
Right.
Even his makes have been shaky, where he'll front iron, back iron, and then it'll sort of fall in. So Luka's now 13 of 32. And I told you the other night, Ernestine, who's really starting to really get basketball, she's looking at me. She only knows Haka Jordan because she knows Haka DeAndre Jordan.
Right.
That's where she entered the basketball realm. So she said, is it time for Haka Jordan? And I was like, wow, I hadn't thought of that. And she meant, is it time for Haka Luka?
Right.
Well, if this is a close game at Staples tomorrow night, should they think about it?